Assalomu alaykum barchaga yana bir marotaba. Biz Portsmouth University'dan uzoqlashmagan holda yana professorlar bilan suhbatimizni davom ettirmoqdamiz. Bugungi sonimiz siz uchun juda ham qiziqarli bo'ladi. Demak, bugungi sonda siz bilan aynan Angliyaning top universitetlarida qanday tahsil olish mumkin ekanligi haqida suhbatlashamiz. Bizning mehmonimiz esa Xi Wang. Let's talk about you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name is Xi Wang. I'm a lecturer in translation studies at the University of Portsmouth. And maybe a little bit more about my background. I did my master in interpreting and translation and my PhD in audiovisual translation studies at Queen's University Belfast in Northern Ireland. And I also worked as a Marie Curie early stage researcher at Queen's University Belfast before I moved to the University of Portsmouth.
Great. You know, it's really interesting to know about the process for applying to universities.
Yes, I can introduce you a little bit, but I believe you know the comprehensive information. You may able to find it online in terms of the application process and requirements. So in terms of myself, because I did my master and PhD in translation studies at Queen's University Belfast. So when I did my master degree at Queen's, it's because there's an exchange program between my home university and the Queen's University Belfast. So it's a quite straightforward process for me to visit Queen's University and to start my master degree. And I think one of the main requirement for me is to pass the IELTS examination. You know, the IELTS examination, you have the listening, writing, speaking, and reading. So I think the minimum would be 6.5, and then you pass the IELTS examinations, and then you start your application process. It will be a quite straightforward one. But compared to the, you know, applying for the MA degree in the UK, it would be quite different from applying for a PhD degree in the UK, because applying for a PhD, I would advise you to better find a potential PhD supervisor first. So then you can have some informal communication with your potential PhD supervisor to see what their research interests are and would they be interested to take you as a PhD student. If they agree, like they would like you to, you know, to apply for their PhD, I think you will be in a better chance to get it. So after this informal chat with your potential PhD supervisors, you can start your formal application process. And again, from different university, the application process will be a little bit different, but I think the main components will be the IELTS examination and a proposal. So for example, you may be asked to write about 2,000 words proposal to submit it to the interview panel. And then they may conduct an interview with you to see if they would like you to work with the team as a PhD student.
Are there any scholarships or financial aid options available for international students?
Yes, I think there are several scholarships available for the PhD students. For example, when I did my PhD research project, my research project was funded by the EU Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Research Program, and that is the Marie Curie research program. So it covers your tuition fee, and it also gives you the salary for every month. So, and also some university scholarships Again, it will be different across different universities, but if you go to some universities' website, they would have some specific scholarships just for the international students. So it'd be better to check it before you apply for it. And for some PhD supervisors, if they got some funding, they may able to provide you the scholarship for you if you work as a PhD student for them.
It's important to know about challenges students might face while studying and how can they overcome them.
Yeah, if you just arrive into a different country and start your new journey, there will be challenges from different aspects in terms of the cultural differences and also the education style. When you communicate with your lecturers or with your supervisors, it will be quite different. But I think they would understand you. They would know like you come from a different cultural background. All the relationship would build on the mutual respects and understanding. So I believe you don't need to worry about it too much. And if you got any questions, I believe in the university there will be specific staff who would advise you on that.
Your tips for successful study abroad experience.
My tips for study abroad successfully? That's a good question. So again, I think if you are doing a PhD research project, the research project is really on your own. Your PhD supervisors is here to give you guidance and advice. But in terms of how to conduct this PhD project is on your own. So I think firstly, you need to build up the interests in the project you want to conduct and to do intensive literature review. This is from the academic points of view, just to be a good student. And in terms of to build your life in a specific country, such as in the UK, I would suggest you just don't devote all of your time to your study. You should make friends and to explore the country. I think that's a very essential part in the life, just to make your work-life balance. I think is quite important.
I'm really curious about how did you deal with homesickness while studying abroad?
Homesickness is a good question again. So you see, I moved to UK 7 years ago, and because of the COVID-19, actually I haven't been able to go back home for 4 years. But because I have friends here and I can have the video, the FaceTime with my mom, my father, when I want to meet with them. So it's okay for me so far. But I believe after this COVID-19 period, students, it's quite convenient and I think easier for the students to go back home to visit their family. And since you start your studying journey, you may find you don't have so much time to become homesickness. You have so much things to do. If you are doing a master degree here, because the master degree it is only 1 year for you to complete. So you have so many assignments to do and you have so many interesting things to explore and you want to make friends. I believe you won't be quite sickness. So
how long does it take to become fluent in English language? What do you think about it?
I think that takes years and also is built on your knowledge and experience. If you move to a new country, like an English-speaking country, I think that would be very convenient for you to improve your English. During your daily life, you need to speak you need to speak English with the classmates, with the teachers, also, you know, with anyone you may meet in the supermarkets, you would speak English. I think this English speaking environment is very important for you to improve your English and to, you know, to speak it fluently. But I do have a few tips for you to improve your English. Like, for example, if you do some shadowing. I think that's an interpreting skills. You follow some like BBC news and you try to research, or you try to just shadowing what they have said in this BBC news. I think it's quite helpful. And also try to listening some news or watch some like English TV shows. It just put yourself into this English speaking environment. I think would be quite helpful. But by the way, I think your spoken English is very well. You may able to share some tips to the students as well.
Just I would like to know one thing. Were you afraid of making mistakes when you were a student in terms of English language?
No, I didn't feel I'm afraid, or you know, I have other negative feelings when I make mistakes in either speaking English or writing in English. I think it's normal for everyone in making mistakes in speaking and writing, but and also you learn from these mistakes, right? So, and if you make some mistakes, I believe your teachers or other people will tell you and will help with you. So don't be afraid.
Mistakes make us perfect, like.
Yeah.
What are your tips for writing effectively in English language?
Writing is different from speaking. Like for speaking, as I mentioned, you could put yourself into this English speaking environment and you can learn from other people. However, in terms of writing, you could learn from the scholars when you're reading the papers, but it really takes time for you to improve yourself by writing again. So I would advise every student, don't just submit your first draft to your teacher. Always try to, you know, as my supervisor, PhD supervisor advised me, cast a cold eye.
Okay. What kind of things international students should know before coming to the UK?
Can you be more specific?
No, general. Maybe. It really depends on you.
What kind of things?
Things, yeah, sure.
They should know before they come into the UK. Maybe the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, because
absolutely right.
The weather here is sometimes it could be mystery, but I think it would be very different from your home country, right?
Sure.
And I think you just be chill. You don't need to worry too much, like before you arrive to the UK, because I think here people are quite friendly, and they are happy to help you on, you know, different aspects. So just don't worry too much.
Oh, how studying and teaching in the UK could change your life?
How study and teaching in the UK? So I think it's not in the UK. I think it would be maybe if you do a PhD in other countries, I think it would be very same or similar experience. It's really help you to build up your mindset. Like no matter what research projects you are doing, you are trying to solve some real problems, and you are trying to put forward some novel approaches. You want to minimum the research gap. So during this 4 year or 5 years process, I think it's really help you to build up your mindset. And this mindset will come with you for the rest of your life. And when you meet up some new challenges or new problems, you can use this mindset to try to solve these issues or problems. I think this is the most important thing I've learned from my PhD project. I'm not afraid to, to meet some new challenges or problems. And in terms of teaching in the UK, because I never teach in other universities or other countries, so I think it's just a very good experience to become a lecturer in a university. That is what I want, and I really enjoy teaching as well as research, because if you work as a lecturer, for example in the UK, you would have a certain percentage in terms of teaching, and certain percentage you could use for your research. So I think it's a good balance. You could teach but also do your own research project.
Yes, thank you. Your wishes to Uzbek students?
So good luck with everything, and if you do want to come to UK to study your master or PhD program, I wish you every success.
Thank you. It was Dr. Xi from Portsmouth University, England. Thanks a lot.